been wondering about the original engine refresh behind me and also the 1986 Lotus Esprit we had in here with the big smoking issue. Well, I'm going to touch on those today. The 86 Esprit, that one is gone. It's out of the shop. After we pulled the motor the second time, we dug into the block. We found that the liners had come loose. Oil was in the water. Water was in the oil. We had all that cross-pollination going on. We reset all the cylinders inside the block. We took the bore gauge. We measured all the bearing clearances. Everything looked really, really good on that engine. So very carefully reassembled everything to spec, put it all back together again, checking everything as we went because it was a tough problem to diagnose. And got the engine back in the car and started it up, and it ran really well, and it wasn't smoking. So I took it out on a test drive, not very far. The car didn't have a plate on it, so I couldn't put a whole lot of time in the car. Just drove it around some local roads, and it seemed to be doing fine. It was shifting okay and running really well. The engine was strong. But then when I pulled back into the shop, I noticed a puff of smoke come from the turbo. And I was like, God, no, not again. So anyway, but that smoke quickly went away. It stopped. And to make a long story short, here's kind of what I think was going on with that car. It did have issues, right? The head gasket, we replaced that, and we did that work in the block, and it got a valve job, and it got everything a motor rebuild should get. But the car was still smoking a little bit when we put it all back together again. And what I didn't realize at the time, and I came to realize afterwards, was that the new owner who purchased the car, he never really drove the car. He purchased it, he put it on a trailer, he brought it home, it smoked, and then he brought it to West Camp, and we rebuilt the engine. So when I took it for the test drive, that was the first time that car had been driven in 20 years. I had no idea. If I had known that, I would have been a little more apprehensive about the drive, right? Because you think about a lot of things. You think about, oh shit, are the brakes good? The clutch slave cylinder, is that working? All that stuff goes through your head. But anyway, the car drove pretty good. And to make a long story short, again, it turns out that car just needed to be driven. After all the work we did, everything was done really well. He had the turbo rebuilt by somebody else. That was done really well. Everything was right on that car. And it just needed to be driven. So after he put about a few hundred miles on the car, some serious, like maybe 6 hours or so, smoke cleared up. He switched out the transmission fluid, put in the Redline MT90. He says now it's shifting fantastically. So that car just needed to settle back in to the world of the living, I guess. And once that happened, it came back to life. Everything started working and loosening up in the gearbox and everywhere else. And the car's doing great. So that's what happened with the 86 car that came in with the smoke and all that. So engine refresh. That's what we were doing before the 86. That's this car. This motor is rebuilt, back in the car. It's running. I don't have a silencer, so it's running off just a downpipe. So it's loud. It's loud. But we're going to start it up here and listen to it and see what we think. There's still a whole punch list of items that I need to do to this car. I've got to swap out some brake lines and some other things like that. So we're not going on a test drive, but we can fire it up, and I feel pretty good knowing the engine's back in. There's no leaks. There's no smoke. It seems to be running really, really well. And but after I show you that, we've got a new engine in the shop. It's actually, I think it's another 86 turbo engine. But we're going through the process now of rebuilding this engine for a customer. And I didn't get it as a whole engine. I got it in parts. It came in 4 boxes. Everything was disassembled, and it's missing some pieces, but the owner wants it built so it's running and able to drop into a car. So that's what we're going to do for him, because we've got everything here we need to complete the build. So let's fire this up and see how it sounds. All right, I'm going to fire it up. She is cold, cold, cold. And I imagine it's going to idle high to begin with. But let's turn the key and hear some thunder. So yeah, I'm happy with this. I think it's a success. It's it only got up to like 40 degrees Celsius while I was warming it up, maybe 30, something like that. So it never really had time to completely warm up and drop the idle. At around, they seem to run great around 85, 90 degrees Celsius, something like that. But yeah, she's sounding strong, and I'm happy with it. I still got to dial in the Bosch system a little bit. The timing is set. That looked pretty good. I need to take a look at the air-fuel ratio, tweak that a little bit if I need to. But other than that, 95% of the work's behind us now, so that's really good. Got a few things to button up, and then we'll be taking this one to the car shows pretty soon. So we gotta roll with a new engine build. So I gotta switch gears and get onto that.